comes the uproar. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
Can he play?
The best players in the world and their best plays. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to today's edition of the program Scoreboard in 15 right on 32 FM 94.9. Today is the 244th day in the month or in the year 2025, but the first day in the month of September. We are here to take a look at all the interesting sporting headlines and make the rounds over the course of the weekend. We know all that happened over the course of the weekend. Late till yesterday, where FC Barcelona were unable to get a victory against Rayo Vallecano for Arsenal Football Club. Yesterday, they went up against the defending champions, but they lost 1-0 there at the Anfield Stadium in a game that just needed one clutch moment. But Dominic Szoboszlai was the man who lived up for that moment with that stunning 32-yard free kick. And then we'll discuss about some other sporting stories, which definitely involves the world of tennis, where Jessica Pegula and Aryna Sabalenka, they walked straight into the quarterfinals of this year's Flushing Meadows without dropping a set. And for Novak Djokovic as well, the man who is aiming for his 25th major Grand Slam, he is into record-extending 64th major quarterfinals. In the world of Formula One, for Oscar Piastri, yes, you tell that this man is still wasking stronger in the world of Formula One for this season, as he actually won his 6th Grand Prix victory of the season, where Racing Bull's 20-year-old French rookie Isaac Adjar finished third to become the 5th youngest podium finisher of all time. Well, home favourite Max Verstappen finished second there in the Dutch Grand Prix yesterday. And then we'll talk about athletic stories as well, where we have updates from that front. We talk about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. What do we call her? We call her the Pocket Rocket. Well, this woman who definitely has a kid, as she's set to retire after the World Championships there in Tokyo later this month. 3-time Olympian and Olympic champion and 10 times a world gold medalist. That's the career of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But the big news that broke out yesterday in the world of football is that for Liverpool Football Club, they have agreed Alexander Isak, the Swedish international, deal with Newcastle for British record. Joe Wilkinson is standing by for the BBC Premier League update, where we'll take a listen to all we need to know about English football games that went down yesterday. For Crystal Palace, they added to the woes of Aston Villa as they won by 3-0. Mark Guehi, is he going to stay with Crystal Palace for this season? Their manager Oliver Glasner said, well, he has to stay because everything good starts with Mark Guehi. And then we talk about the other games that went down yesterday. For Manchester City, not the best of result for them. They scored first, but they lost 2-1 to the hands of Brighton and Hove Albion. For West Ham, they also got their first victory yesterday, defeating Nottingham Forest there at the City Ground yesterday also by 3-0. Let's join our partners now, the BBC, to take a listen to what they have for us. But you are listening to the voice of Oluwatimileni SAMIES on the program this lovely morning. So now we go straight to Joe Wilkinson with the BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm John Wilkinson at the BBC Sports Centre. Liverpool topped the Premier League after 3 wins out of 3 heading into the international break. They had Dominic Szoboszlai to thank for an inspired late free kick at home to Arsenal for 1-0. Arne Slot says there's things to work on, but he's pleased.
To have 9 points where we had 5 points out of the same games last season, that's nice, but we also know we definitely have to develop, we have to become better. than we were in the first 3 games. But the mentality, like there's been here for so many years, is also still in this team.
Liverpool still hope to sign Newcastle's Alexander Isak and Crystal Palace's Mark 𝐂𝐒 on deadline day, and 𝐂𝐒 may have signed off at Palace with a fine goal. He scored from range in a 3-0 win at Aston Villa, who are now the only team in the top 4 divisions not to have scored a league goal so far. Villa left goalkeeper Emi Martinez out of their squad amid interest from Manchester United. Manchester City suffered back-to-back defeats. They lost 2-1 to Brighton with their former player James Milner among the scorers. He's both the second youngest Premier League scorer ever and now the second oldest too. Here's his boss, Fabian Hürzeler.
He proved that he can deal with this situation. I think there are some moments so far in his career where he had a little bit more pressure in his life. So overall, we are very happy that he's playing for us. He's a great personality. He's still a very professional player and still a player who can help us.
In more bad news for City, their new midfielder Ryan Cherki has been ruled out for 2 months due to injury. West Ham got their first points of the season with a 3-0 win at Nottingham Forest, and the West Ham boss Graham Potter says he's confident that goalscorer Lucas Paqueta will stay at the club. The Forest boss Nuno, meanwhile, has upcoming talks with the club owner Evangelos Marinakis about the direction of the club.
We have to talk, we have to address things. Of course, this result doesn't help things, but we have to address what the club needs, and my job now is to make sure that we don't perform and I can help the boys, I can improve the team, because we have a challenging year ahead of us, a challenging season that we can and we must enjoy, and we must do better and play better football.
In other transfer news, Wolves have agreed a £24 million deal for the Genk striker Tolu Arukadare. He's not seen as a replacement for Jørgen Strand Larsen, for whom Newcastle have had 2 bids rejected. Yoane Wissa has called on Brentford to, according to him, keep their word and let him leave before the transfer deadline. He's accused the club of unduly standing in his way of a move to Newcastle. Whilst Chelsea have made contact with Sporting for their striker Conrad Harder, having asked Bayern Munich to make a permanent offer for Nicholas Jackson. He had been due to leave on loan for Bayern before Chelsea cancelled it to cover Liam Delap's injury. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, there you listened to the BBC Premier League updates. Well, we'll come later in the afternoon to discuss more about the interesting world of transfer, just as we look at the deadline day. Well, moving away from English football now. We'll talk about some Spanish football. We'll talk about Europe top 5 leagues. We have for FC Barcelona, they hold on for a draw against impressive Rayo Vallecano yesterday. 1-1 on the game ended. The Catalan Giants had goalkeeper John Garcia to thank for earning them that, as he made several fine saves on a Thursday night there in the Spanish capital. Lamine Yamal, definitely for Barcelona, they took the lead through a contested Lamine Yamal penalty, but Fran Perez leveled after the break for the host, who could have gone on to win. Full time, 1-1. It ended yesterday. But for the other games that went out there in Spain yesterday, Celta Vigo and Villarreal, they played out a 1-1 draw. Atletico de Bilbao defeated Real Betis 2-1. And Espanyol defeated Osasuna by 1-0. And talking about Italian football for Inter Milan, they suffered a shocking defeat to the hands of Udinese there at the San Siro Stadium. That was yesterday. For Inter Milan, they lost by 2-1. Denzel Dumfries, he was the one who scored first in that game. But the visitors scored 2 goals after the break to make it 2-1. So for the other games, Dusan Vlahovic ensured that the old ladies in Turin, Juventus, they got a victory against Genoa, 1-0. Torino and Fiorentina 0-0 it ended. Lazio defeated Verona by 4-0. There in Italian football and in German football yesterday, Serge Gnabry, a goal in each half from him, and the later Felix Mecca Rocket lifted Borussia Dortmund to a 3-0 home win over Union Berlin. That was yesterday. You tell that after struggling against the third-tier Essen in the German Cup and failing to a disappointing draw at St. Pauli in their season opener, the match was a welcome return to former coach Niko Kovac's side. And that was their first win of the season. In the other games that went on in the Bundesliga, Cologne defeated Freiburg 4-1, and Mainz and Wolfsburg, they shared their spoils 1-1. And in France, For Paris Football Club, the newly promoted side, they defeated Metz by 3-2. And the Nigerian winger forward who just joined that side, Moses Simon, is shown as Paris FC won by 3-2. He created a goal and also assisted in that encounter. So they defeated Metz 3-2. Lyon also defeated Marseille 1-0. Le Havre defeated Nice 3-1. AS Monaco defeated Strasbourg by 3-2, while Angers and Rennes also shared the spoils 1-1. The game ended between the sides yesterday. All right, before we talk further about football stories on the African continent, which definitely has the Nigeria Premier Football League, we move away from that and talk about Formula One story at this point, where Oscar Piastri powered to victory at an incident-packed Dutch Formula One Grand Prix yesterday with home favourite Max Verstappen claiming second place as Piastri's McLaren teammate, that's Lando Norris, suffered a dramatic breakdown late in the race. Well, a thrilling start saw Verstappen, who started third on the grid, overtake Norris before briefly losing control of his Red Bull. But you tell that it was a great night of victory action for all of these drivers there in the world of Formula One. So 1, 2, 3, we have that the McLaren finishing first. You tell that the Red Bull finished second, while the Racing Bull finished third. Isaac Adja finishing third to become the 5th youngest podium finisher of all time. And away from Formula One, still we talk about athletics, where Jamaican sprinter great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the pocket rocket, well, she will hang up her spikes after next month's World Championship in Tokyo, having redefined what is possible for women in sport. For men, for footballers, they hang up their boots, but for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she is going to hang up her spikes. We'll talk about the Jamaican prodigy. All of these ones, they were the golden generation of Jamaican athletics. Usain Bolt, Powell, Jan Blake. You tell that all of these ones, they are so well in their lane. And quickly in the world of tennis, well, for the actions that went down yesterday, there in the Flushing Meadows, the last major Grand Slam of the year, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, the mottoed into the quarterfinals of the US Open, as reigning women's champion Aryna Sabalenka also kept her title defense firmly on track. Action set to continue later today, where we talk about tennis. Riadi will be up against Alex de Minaur. Felix Auger-Aliassime will be up against Andrew Rublev. Lorenzo Musetti will be up against Jakub Muna. In the female games, that's Alexandrova will be up against Gaswatek. Kostyuk will be up against Muchova. And Naomi Osaka will be up against Karika Gauff. This is the game in which many of us wants to see there in the world of tennis. And lastly, in the Nigeria Premier Football League, for the games that went down over the course of the weekend in the Nigeria Premier Football League, for Shooting Stars, the game ended 1-1 between themselves and that's Bendel Insurance there in Benin at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. Nasarawa United defeated Abia Warriors 1-0 yesterday. Bayelsa United defeated Barao Football Club. Katsina United got the better of Plateau United. Yiba defeated Niger Tornadoes. Kano Pillars and Wiki Tourists 1-1. Warri Wolves defeated Enugu Rangers. Rivers United defeated Kwara United. Ikorodu City against Academy Warriors 0-0. And Kun Califat will be up against Remo Stars later today by 4 p.m. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. To meet later in the afternoon by 3:30, just to take a look at all the sporting stories, especially the big one, the world of transfer. Players, are they going to make that move, or they are going to retain with their club side? Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.